As far as I'm concerned, those cakes are just fine, and if you got a problem with them, then, I don't know what to tell you. Welcome back to the show. Be sure to subscribe. Let's get right to it. First topic. So after Trump bombed Iran, a lot of people were pissed that he didn't tell Congress, including Jasmine Crockett, who was mad that he didn't holler at them. Go ahead, roll the clip.
I go back in on Monday. You could have hollered at us on Monday. If you truly felt like there was something, like, there is nothing that they will say that will make me believe that this action needed to take place, and it needed to take place without the consultation of the Congress.
Now here is Pete Hegseth addressing the whole Congress notification situation. Roll the clip.
General, you say that General Carrillo increased force protection in Iraq, Syria, and Gulf, in those areas. Were they given any advance warning the attacks were coming? And also, Mr. Secretary, when were congressional leaders notified? How long before the attacks took place?
Sure. To your first question, the risk has clearly been rising over the last few weeks in the region. Based on that, and not a particular awareness of this operation, we've made smart decisions to minimize the risk to U.S. forces in the region.
So they were given no advance warning?
No, sir.
In congressional?
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act.
Attacks, they were notified.
They were immediately thereafter.
Of course they weren't going to tell Congress before they carried out this strike. It was super under wraps. Nobody knew anything. Only a few people in the inner circle knew about the whole thing going down. You think if they would have told Congress, people like AOC and Jasmine Crockett would have come out and been like, oh, Trump's about to bomb Iran. Iran, be on the lookout. Trump's going to bomb them. Make sure you take out those jets when they come over. She does not give a damn about America and America being great. She only cares about being ghetto and, pushing the agenda of the whole Democrat Party right now, and just basically turning the whole party ghetto. I mean, people want to pretend like she's some sort of superstar in the Democratic Party, but really what she's doing is destroying the Democratic Party. And they're too dumb to see it, and it's great because every time they push somebody like that back out there to speak, they lose more voters. They lose more credibility. It's a beautiful thing. Now, with the whole Trump and Iran thing, as long as we're not putting boots on the ground, just go ahead, take out whatever you need to take out. We don't need to be starting a war. We don't need an endless war in Iran, and we don't need any troops on the ground. Let's just go ahead and keep it at that. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. So the Democrats had a complete meltdown over J.D. Vance calling Senator Alex Padilla Jose Padilla. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump, when all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open. But they're not doing that. They'd love the grandstanding. They hate law enforcement because they hate the idea of the United States of America having a border. It's a disgrace, but it is what it is.
Now here is Senator Alex Padilla almost breaking out into tears over being called Jose. Roll the clip.
Currently the president of the Senate where you serve. He also went to Yale. I assume that he knows your name is Alex Padilla. Your response to him calling you Jose?
Oh, he knows my name. He knows my name. Look, sadly, it's just an indicator of how petty and unserious this administration is. But he's the vice president of the United States. You think he'd take the situation in Los Angeles more seriously? You think maybe he'd take a moment to talk to some of the families who have been impacted, have been terrorized, to feel what's really going on the ground. I mean, you saw him shaking hands with Marines, but did he listen to the Marines? Because we have, the report after report of the Marines, so many of the Marines themselves that don't want to be there. That's not why they enlisted. Or if not the migrant families, how about the employers, who I know are speaking up because they're concerned about their workforce? We've got a lot of important work to do, but this is how the vice president chooses to act, and that says a lot.
Yeah, JD is completely right. All these things that these Democrats are doing, going out and getting arrested for the cause, basically for the immigrants, and just showing how much they care about anybody other than actual Americans, folks. That's all they're doing. It's political theater, and they're just using it to get attention, like this Alex Jose Padilla, It's just like, come on, man. And if they're going to have such a meltdown over JD calling the guy Jose, like it's some sort of racial slur. They're basically claiming that like him referring to him as Jose is like a racial slur, and pretty much JD needs to be impeached and step down from the vice presidency, because how could he do such a thing? It's like when the Democrats just show this type of weakness over something as minuscule as like somebody being called Jose rather than Alex, it's just hilarious, and it just shows how exactly weak and pathetic minded basically all of them are, like this is what the Democratic Party is now, just complaining about anything that the Republicans do to try to make themselves look like a victim and try to appeal to people who want to be a part of that victimhood mentality, right? Basically the 20% out there left who are still claiming Democrat and still want to pretend like something is actually going on there. They're just all weak-minded individuals who have problems and, have meltdowns over stupid things like this. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. So the grocery store chain Kroger is getting backlash online over the quality of their Juneteenth cakes. Go ahead, roll the clip.
This is some bullshit. Who the hell made this ugly ass shit? I wish it was a manager here, because y'all decorate everything else around here cute. Everything else around here cute. But for Juneteenth, you want to just throw something on a freaking cookie cake and expect someone to buy it? That's bullshit. Fuck no. What this fuck free at last? Like, free, really? Who the fuck finna buy this dumbass shit? You know what? I'm gonna be in here bright early in the morning to talk to somebody about this, because this is unacceptable.
Now, let's be honest. How hilariously terrible are those cakes? I mean, here's exactly what happened, right? So the manager probably went to the bakery and was like, hey guys, it's Juneteenth. Go ahead and make up some cakes for Juneteenth. Maybe we'll sell a couple, I mean, it's a new holiday, but yeah, let's just go ahead and put some cakes out there. So the people in the bakery, probably all white, of course, were like, what is Juneteenth? What do we even do for Juneteenth? What does it even mean? Somebody was probably just like, yeah, it has something to do with like slaves or something and freeing the slaves or so basically that's probably what happened. They just went off of like, yeah, let's put out cakes about getting freed, and that's it, free at last. I mean, those have got to be the worst cakes of all time. And the watermelon cake, I don't know what was going on with that. I mean, that could be seen as a little, offensive. I'll get that one, but the whole, I mean, what are the employees supposed to do for Juneteenth? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of cake are you gonna make for Juneteenth? As far as I'm concerned, those cakes are just fine. And if you got a problem with them, then I don't know what to tell you at this point. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. So Bill Maher is basically claiming that the Democrats have gotten so crazy that he's probably going to be voting Republican here in the near future. Go ahead, roll the clip.
I never was a Democrat to begin with. I always caucused with the Democrats, and I generally vote for them. I think always vote for them. But I always look at it and like, no, I'm going to actually make up my mind. They just always are less scary and insane than the Republicans. But I wait for the day when it evens out. We're approaching that because they have gotten crazier.
Now just go in and ask yourself this. Try to name one thing that the Democrats are pushing right now that would be worth you voting for. You know, I mean, are illegals, that's what they're pushing? Is that what you would want to vote for? I doubt it. Ukraine war, they're all about Ukraine war. Now they're on to Iran. They were on to, like, you know, Mexico and, you know, Latinos and supporting them and their ICE raids. They don't even know what they support anymore. That's just what's so funny. We're in a time right now where the Democrats are moving on to the next thing so fast that just, like, they don't even know what flag to be flying anymore. That's just what's so hilarious about all this. But yeah, it's just, there's really nothing the Democrats are doing right now that could ever, facilitate you voting for that, right? It's just, you're never going to justify voting for anything that the Democrats are talking about right now because it's just all lunacy. You know what I'm saying? It's all lunacy. It's all anti-American too. Like, why would anybody vote for anything anti-American? I mean, people love America, especially now. America's, right on the right track. We're going back to being great. We're not going back to the times of, we're just anti-American and we can't be pro-America. It's just so offensive to be pro-America. And that's what the Democrats are. They are trying to be anti-America and let everybody know it's offensive to be pro-America. But all right, that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you